What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another legendary comparison video. So today we are finally going to be talking about the HBR Swarm and the HBR Rictus Arc. So I was going to make this video a little bit earlier the moment the HBR Rictus Arc came out, but I decided to wait a little bit just to finish getting legendary and ranked. And now, since I've already completed it, now let's actually focus on this. So the layout's pretty much simple as it is before. So yeah, we're going to talk about the HBR Swarm since it did come out first. So the HBR Swarm was released back in Season 10 of Year 1. It was kind of a nature type of thing, or I guess like a forest themed season. It was a pretty unique one at that. It did come out with the Echo natural causes as well. So, I mean, a lot of things happened within that season. It was actually the second season to have Gunsmith. So this was when Gunsmith was pretty new to the game. Of course, I mean, the HBR was nerfed since then, so I didn't really see why they would release a legendary skin, but this was kind of before they started, you know, releasing legendary skins the moment a new weapon got buffed. So, I mean, it was just really random. At the time, you wouldn't really know for sure what was going to be a legendary skin for an incoming season. It could have been anything. But now, typically, when it comes to releases of legendary skins, they do kind of correlate with any weapon patches that may happen. So, for example, if the M4 got buffed, people would assume that there's going to be a legendary coming very soon for that weapon. That's what happened with the Rictus Arc. The HBR got a buff for Season 2, so now we have another legendary skin for said weapon. So initially, I didn't really pick up this legendary skin. At the time, it was still kind of early into my COD mobile career, if you could say that, because I wasn't really interested in getting every single legendary skin. I only just got the ones that appealed to me. So for me, I knew that the HBR wasn't really a good weapon, so that's why I didn't really bother buying a legendary skin like this. It wasn't until like later into Year 2 when the For You draws first came in that I decided to finally pick it up. And even then, I still wasn't really using it that much because, like I said, the HBR wasn't really the best weapon at the first few months where the Gunsmith was available. But, you know, now that they buffed it, it has a much higher purpose in this game. And that's something that really happens in this game, where you buy a legendary that may not seem important at first, but later on down the line, it will become more useful if the weapon does receive some sort of change. So as it goes for legendary skins, this was actually pretty surprising for the HBR because there's not a lot of skins out there that really have a digital iron sight. Typically when you think about that, you would think of maybe a mythic weapon or like a very, very rare legendary skin. I mean, I don't really think that there's a lot of legendary skins that have digital iron sights. They do have different iron sights, but not digital ones like this one. So it is very mythic-like without a lot of the mythic features. In fact, this may have been one of the first legendaries to ever have a digital iron sight, because if this came out in Season 10, then in Season 11, that's when the mythic Fennec came out. So yeah, well, actually no, I think that was Season 12. I'm not even that sure, but yeah, this one came out before the mythic Fennec ascended. So yeah, this must have been one of the very first legendary skins with a digital iron sight. So at the time, it was a very, very unique legendary skin, especially since we haven't really had a nature-themed skin ever. So yeah, this is a very, very unique legendary skin with a unique death effect as well, and even a sound effect. This weapon is pretty decked out when it comes to features. I think the only thing that's not changed is the reload animation. I know there are some legendaries out there that do have some sort of change when it comes to reload animation, but, you know, overall, this weapon does have a lot of great features. It's no reason why a lot of people would consider this one to be a better legendary than the Rictus Arc. Of course, there's a lot of people that have differing opinions, maybe some like the Rictus Arc more than this. But now let's actually move on to the Rictus Arc. So now moving on to the Rictus Arc, so this is the second legendary skin to be released. This was released right when the HBR got the buff. This is the second legendary, I believe, to be released for this season. The first one was the Jack 12, which kind of sucked, to be honest. But yeah, this is the HBR Rictus Arc, and to be honest, I'm kind of a fan of this one more. I kind of prefer this one better than the HBR Swarm. I know that's very controversial to say, but of course everyone has their own opinions. The iron sight, of course, is not digital. It's more of just a physical based thing, but it is very helpful nonetheless. But of course, I would kind of prefer the HBR Swarm's iron sight a little bit more. But in terms of its design, how it looks and everything, I feel like this one just feels a little bit more comfortable in my hands. So just like the Swarm, it is kind of a technological based themed weapon. Of course, without the bees, it's more electric based. This is not a reactive skin. It's a basic legendary, but it is kill reactive. So whenever you do kill an enemy, it will react in some way, shape, or form. So in this instance, when you do kill an enemy, there is red lightning that kind of courses around the body of the weapon. So its physical design is one thing I can say it has over the Swarm, because, you know, the Swarm is kind of a very, very thick version of the HBR. It doesn't really stay true to its natural form, but this one does, because it's a lot thinner in design, the way the HBR actually looks. Of course, I mean, the barrel doesn't look the same, obviously, because it's kind of caved in, because it serves as kind of like an electric ray gun, I guess. But I will say this, that I guess the effects around the weapon are pretty consistent for the most part, because no matter what, it just pretty much stays like that. And I just like the red lightning that kind of courses around the weapon when you do get a kill. It really just kind of courses around not just the center, but even the backside where there is actually a skull. So it's all over the place. I will say this though, the death effect is pretty simple for the most part. A lot of people consider it to be very reminiscent to the Kilo railgun, so I will say that it's not really the best in the world. As well as the firing effect, it's not really that different compared to its original weapon. Yeah, it sounds a little bit more electric, but I would say that the HBR Swarm is a lot better in that regard. But yeah, that's pretty much the HBR Rictus Arc for you. It's nothing crazy, but there is a fun fact about it. If you do read the description, this weapon was actually made in the same lab where the CBR Amoeba was made, so that's pretty interesting. So now here are the final results for both legendary skins. For the physical design, like I said, the HBR Swarm, for me, it's like a really thick, like an overly fat version of the HBR. But I would say that the Rictus Arc does kind of take the cake on this one, because I mean, it looks a little bit more, I guess, creative in some ways. So yeah, I decided to give it first place. For animations, of course, I also didn't give it first place, because I mean, there's just lightning going around the weapon. I feel like there's more effects to that. I know the HBR Swarm does have that light on each side of the weapon, but I mean, the bees, it's something that you could barely see or even care to notice. But with the HBR, like I said, very consistent. As for the death effects, I will say that the HBR Swarm is a lot better in that regard, because it's a little bit more unique. But for the death effect on the Rictus Arc, it's not really the best in the world. It's very simple for an electric weapon. They didn't bother to like make any unique animations. It's just basically the railgun death effect. As for the sound effect, I also gave first place to the Swarm, obviously because you can notice it a little bit more and it stays true to, I guess, pretty much the nature design of the Swarm itself with the bees and everything. As for the iron sight, of course, this was pretty much a given to be first for the Swarm, because it is a digital sight and you can't really get any more accurate than that. So yeah, these are the final results for both legendary skins. So anyways, there you guys have it. Let me know what you guys think down below. How would you rank these weapons based on their features? So yeah, I'm pretty interested to know what you guys think. So anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to subscribe for some more COD mobile content. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.